Evelyn Harper had spent a lifetime believing love was measured in dollars and devotion. At 72, she lived in a quiet brick house in Roswell, Georgia, surrounded by memories of her late husband Harold and the daughter she had raised alone. For 5 years, she had quietly drained her retirement savings more than $65,000 to keep her daughter Sarah and son-in-law Tom afloat. Mortgage payments on their sprawling McMansion private school tuition for their 2 children, annual Disney trips, new cars, and endless emergencies. Evelyn never asked for repayment. She told herself it was what mothers did. She told herself their gratitude, however sparse, was enough. Then came the Sweet 16 party. Emma's birthday fell on a humid June weekend. Evelyn had spent weeks planning her gift, a shimmering blue chiffon dress from Nordstrom, $450 on sale, wrapped with a card promising a day to remember. She imagined standing in the backyard, watching her granddaughter blow out candles, maybe even dancing under string lights. But Sarah's text was clear: it's just close family and Emma's friends. Nothing big. No invitation followed. The next morning, Evelyn opened Facebook. Photos flooded her feed. Emma in the dress Evelyn had bought, laughing with cousins, friends, and Sarah's extended family. Dozens of people. Not one included Evelyn. The caption under Sarah's main photo read, "So grateful for our real family who made this night magical." The words landed like a slap. Evelyn called Sarah. Voicemail. She texted. Silence. When Sarah finally answered, her tone was casual, almost annoyed. "Mom, it was small. Emma wanted her friends there. It wasn't about you. But I bought the dress," Evelyn said softly. "I know. Thank you. But it's about who matters most to her right now." Evelyn hung up. Something inside her cracked open, not with tears, but with cold clarity. She opened her banking app. The automatic $2,500 mortgage transfer was scheduled for midnight. With a few clicks, she canceled it. Then she canceled the tuition payment, the extra incidentals, everything. For the first time in years, her money stayed hers. The storm arrived the next day. Sarah's panicked calls. Tom's accusations. Voicemails from her grandchildren asking why Grandma was mad. Evelyn didn't respond. She sat in her kitchen, staring at the empty space where her generosity had once lived, and realized the truth. She had been buying love, and it had never been real. 2 weeks later, a certified letter arrived. Sarah and Tom were petitioning the court to declare Evelyn incompetent. Early onset dementia, they claimed. They wanted guardianship. They wanted control. Evelyn read the papers, her hands steady. She wasn't angry. She wasn't afraid. She was awake. And she was ready to fight for the one person she had neglected for far too long, herself. Sarah looked down. It was a caption. "I didn't mean to hurt her." Maria let the silence hang. "When did you last visit your mother without asking for money?" Sarah opened her mouth, closed it. We talk often. Without asking for money. I don't remember. Thank you." Sarah stepped down, looking smaller. Tom testified next. His tone was defensive. "Your Honor, Evelyn has always been generous, but lately she's irrational. She cut us off cold. We're struggling. We believe she needs help managing her affairs." Maria cross-examined. "Mr. Thompson, you co-signed on the mortgage Mrs. Harper has been paying." "Yes. And you never discussed repayment." "She said it was a gift. Yet when she stopped, you petitioned for guardianship." "We were worried about her." "Or about your finances?" Tom's jaw tightened. "Both." No further questions. The petitioners called their doctor, a geriatric specialist who'd reviewed records but never met Evelyn. "He says her sudden financial decisions are consistent with dementia." Maria objected. "The doctor has no direct evaluation." Judge Hayes allowed it, but noted the limitation. Then it was Evelyn's turn. She walked to the stand, back straight. Judge Hayes smiled slightly. "Mrs. Harper, please state your name for the record." "Evelyn Marie Harper." "How old are you?" 72. "Tell us why you stopped the financial support." Evelyn took a breath. "For 5 years, I paid their mortgage, tuition, vacations. I thought it was love. But I was excluded from my granddaughter's birthday party. They said immediate family only. I realized I was a bank account, not family. So I stopped." "How did that make you feel?" "Betrayed. But also free." Do you feel capable of managing your finances? Sarah's voice trembled. She's changed. She was always so giving, so loving. Then suddenly she stopped all help. No warning. We couldn't pay our mortgage. The kids' school called about tuition. She said she was done. And the security cameras? She installed them after we tried to talk to her. She accused us of breaking in. We never did. She's paranoid. Sarah wiped her eyes. I just want my mom back. She's not herself. Mr. Harlan had no further questions. Maria approached for cross-examination. Miss Thompson, how much money has Mrs. Harper given your family in the last 5 years? Sarah hesitated. Around $65,000. More precisely? $65,412. And what was this money for? Mortgage payments, school tuition, vacations, car repairs, things we needed. Did you ever repay any of it? No, but she offered. She wanted to help. Maria showed the judge a printout. This is from Mrs. Harper's bank records. The payments were automatic. She set them up to ensure your family's stability. Sarah nodded. Now, regarding Emma's sweet 16 party. Was Mrs. Harper invited? Sarah shifted. It was a small gathering. Just close family and friends. Close family meaning immediate family. My husband, our kids, my sister, her family. Your mother was excluded. It wasn't personal. Emma wanted her friends there. But Mrs. Harper bought the dress Emma wore in the photos. Yes. And you posted about real family, making the night magical. The Bridge Club friends arrived in a small group. Clara, Robert, Linda, and 2 others who'd offered to testify if needed. They filled the gallery behind Evelyn, a quiet show of support. Evelyn turned and smiled. Clara gave her a thumbs up. Judge Eleanor Hayes entered at 9 o'clock sharp. She was in her late 50s, with short gray hair and a no-nonsense expression. Everyone stood. After the preliminaries, Judge Hayes addressed the room. This is a petition for guardianship over Evelyn Harper by her daughter Sarah Thompson and son-in-law Thomas Thompson. The petitioners allege that Mrs. Harper suffers from early-onset dementia, manifesting in erratic financial decisions, social isolation, and paranoia. Mrs. Harper, through counsel, contests the petition. We will hear evidence from both sides. Mr. Harlan rose first for opening statements. His voice was smooth, practiced. Your Honor, Mrs. Harper has always been generous to her family. But in recent months, she has abruptly cut off all financial support that totaled over $65,000 in 5 years, without rational explanation. She has installed excessive security measures, withdrawn from family contact, and exhibited signs of confusion. We believe this is due to cognitive decline. We seek guardianship to protect her assets and well-being. Maria stood next. Her voice was firm, measured. Your Honor, this is not a case of decline but of awakening. Mrs. Harper has documented years of financial support to her family, who treated her as a resource rather than a person. When she set boundaries, they responded with this petition not out of concern, but to regain control of her money. We will show she is fully confident, rational, and building a healthy life. The petitioners called Sarah first. She walked to the stand, hands clasped tightly. Miss Thompson, how would you describe your mother's recent behavior? The morning of the hearing dawned clear and crisp, the kind of October day in Georgia where the sky is impossibly blue and the air carries the faint scent of fallen leaves. Evelyn woke at 5:30 a.m., as she had every day since the petition arrived. She dressed carefully, a navy blue wool dress that Harold had always said made her look elegant, low heels, and the pearl necklace he'd given her on their 30th anniversary. She looked in the mirror and saw not just the 72-year-old woman staring back, but the girl who'd once stood up to bullies, the mother who'd raised a child alone after Harold's death, the woman who'd finally decided enough was enough. Maria picked her up at 8:30. The drive to the Fulton County Probate Court took 30 minutes, traffic light on a Saturday. Maria reviewed strategy one last time. Remember, stay calm. Answer truthfully. Don't let them provoke you. The burden is on them to prove incapacity. We just need to show you're competent, and their motives are financial. Evelyn nodded. I know. The courthouse was a modern building with glass doors and marble floors. Inside, the air was cool and smelled of coffee and old paper. They took the elevator to the third floor. The courtroom was small, only 20 seats in the gallery, but it felt vast as Evelyn walked in. Sarah and Tom were already there, seated at the petitioner's table with their lawyer, a tall man named Richard Harlan in a charcoal suit. Sarah wore a conservative gray dress, her hair pulled back. She looked tired, eyes red-rimmed. Tom sat rigid, arms crossed. They didn't look at Evelyn as she took her seat beside Maria. The night before the hearing, Evelyn couldn't sleep. She sat on the porch, watching the security feed on her phone. The street was quiet. No cars. No threats. She thought about Sarah as a child, curly hair, gap-toothed smile, running into her arms after school. The memories hurt, but they also hardened her resolve. Tomorrow, she would face her daughter in court. Not as a mother begging for love. As a woman demanding respect. She went inside, locked the door, and turned off the lights. For the first time in years, she slept soundly. Yes, I review statements monthly. I pay bills on time. I have a budget. And your health. I see my doctor regularly. No cognitive issues. Maria presented Dr. Patel's report. This independent evaluation confirms excellent cognition. The judge nodded. Mr. Harlan cross-examined. Mrs. Harper, you installed security cameras. Why? To protect myself. After threats of guardianship, I wanted safety. Threats? Your client's petition felt threatening. Do you believe your daughter wants to harm you? I believe she wants my money. Mr. Harlan sat. Evelyn stepped down. Maria called Clara. Clara testified, I've played bridge with Evelyn 3 times a week for months. She's sharp, strategic, remembers every hand. She's not confused, she's decisive. Robert, she's managed her garden, her home. She's independent. Linda, I've seen elder abuse cases. This is it. Evelyn is protecting herself. Judge Hayes listened intently. After closing arguments, Mr. Harlan insisting on concern, Maria on exploitation, the judge recessed for deliberation. 2 hours later, she returned. After reviewing the evidence, this court finds no clear and convincing proof of incapacity. Mrs. Harper's decisions are rational. The financial support was voluntary. The petition is denied. Relief flooded Evelyn. Maria hugged her. Sarah stood abruptly. This isn't fair. Judge Hayes warned, any further harassment could lead to charges. Sarah and Tom left without speaking to Evelyn. Outside, the bridge club surrounded her. Hugs, tears, cheers. Evelyn looked at the courthouse steps. It's over. Not over, Clara said. Just beginning. That night, Evelyn hosted a small celebration at home. Potluck, laughter, bridge until midnight. She slept deeply. Word count, 2001. Part 4 will cover the aftermath, Evelyn's move to Florida, and her new life. Ready for it? The weeks following the court victory passed in a haze of quiet triumph and unexpected grief. Evelyn returned home that afternoon to find her house feeling different, lighter, as if the walls themselves had exhaled. She opened the windows to let in the crisp fall air, brewed a pot of chamomile tea, and sat on the porch swing Harold had installed decades ago. The security cameras blinked softly, a reminder of how far she had come. No more automatic transfers, no more anxious calls, no more waiting for gratitude that never arrived. The bridge club friends became her daily lifeline. Clara came over the next day with a homemade apple pie and a hug that lasted longer than usual. You were magnificent in there, Clara said. The way you looked at Sarah. I've never seen you so strong. Evelyn smiled faintly. I felt like I was watching someone else speak. But it was me. And it felt right. Robert dropped by with a bouquet of his prize-winning roses, deep red blooms that filled the kitchen with fragrance. Linda brought a bottle of Merlot and a toast, to boundaries and to the woman brave enough to set them. They played cards that night, laughing louder than they had in weeks. Evelyn won every hand, her mind sharp and unburdened. For the first time since the hearing, she allowed herself to feel the loss, not just of money, but of the dream of a loving family. She cried quietly in the bathroom later, not out of regret, but out of mourning for what might have been. Then she washed her face, looked in the mirror, and whispered, "You did the right thing." Sarah and Tom didn't contact her again. Through a distant cousin, Evelyn still spoke to occasionally. She learned they had downsized to a smaller townhouse in Marietta, put the McMansion on the market, and both taken full-time jobs, Sarah at a local marketing firm, Tom in sales. Emma and Jackson were attending public school. The cousin said the kids missed their grandmother, but Sarah had forbidden any contact. The end of one story, the beginning of many. I once thought love meant giving everything until I had nothing left. I was wrong. Love means giving what you can, freely, to those who give back. When I stopped buying affection, I found it in abundance, from friends, from strangers who became family, from myself. If you're reading this and feel trapped, know this: you are not alone. You deserve respect. You deserve peace. And you have the strength to claim it. Thank you for walking this journey with me. May your path be lit with the same light I found. With love, Evelyn. The post received thousands of shares. Evelyn closed the laptop, turned off the light, and stepped onto the balcony. The river sparkled under the moon. She breathed deeply, feeling the weight of years lift. She was not forgotten. She was remembered by those who mattered. And for the first time in her life, she felt truly, deeply free. Then I saw the news interview. I realized you weren't sick. You were hurt. I should have fought for you. I'm sorry. Evelyn reached across the table and took Emma's hand. You were a child. You couldn't have known. I'm proud of you for reaching out now. They talked for hours about school, college plans. Emma wanted to study psychology, life. Emma asked about Harold, about the old house, about Evelyn's new life. Evelyn answered honestly, without bitterness. She didn't criticize Sarah or Tom. When Emma mentioned them, Evelyn said only they made their choices. I made mine. Emma gave her the gift, a framed photo of them from years ago, Evelyn and Emma baking cookies, flour on their noses. I found it in the attic, Emma said. I kept it hidden. Evelyn's eyes filled. Thank you. They hugged goodbye. Emma promised to visit again. She did, monthly at first, then more often. They built something new, not the old relationship, but a real one, based on respect. Sarah never reached out. Evelyn heard through Emma that things were strained at home, money still tight, arguments frequent. Evelyn didn't gloat. She prayed for them, quietly, and let go. For years after the move, Evelyn turned 76. The Bridge Club threw her a surprise party in the community hall. Balloons, cake, a banner that read, "To Evelyn, the woman who learned to play her own hand." Friends from Roswell came: Clara, Robert, Linda, along with her new circle. George played "Happy Birthday" on the piano. Mia, now a teenager, brought her family. Emma flew down for the weekend. Evelyn blew out the candles, surrounded by people who loved her for who she was, not what she could give. That night, on her balcony, she reflected. She had lost a daughter, but gained so much. Friends who chose her, a purpose that mattered, a granddaughter who chose to know her. She had learned that legacy wasn't about money or obedience. It was about living authentically, even when it hurt. The blog continued. She wrote a final post. Fleet Landing became home in ways her old house never had. She painted prolifically, sunsets over the river, portraits of her new friends, abstract pieces that captured the swirl of emotions she'd carried for years. Her art teacher, a vibrant woman named Sophia, hung one of Evelyn's watercolors in the community gallery. "You have a gift," Sophia said. "Don't hide it." Evelyn didn't. She donated proceeds from a small sale to a local elder abuse hotline. The act felt like closing a circle, turning pain into purpose. 2 years after the move, on a warm April morning, Evelyn received a letter. The envelope was pale blue, addressed in careful handwriting she recognized instantly, Emma's. Her heart stuttered as she opened it. "Dear Grandma, I'm 18 now. I graduated high school last week. Mom and Dad still don't talk about you much, but I've been thinking a lot. I remember the stories you told me, the cookies we baked, the way you always listened. I was young when the party happened. I didn't understand. I'm sorry for not standing up for you. I miss you. Can we meet? Just us? Love, Emma. Evelyn sat on the balcony for hours, the letter in her hand. She felt a storm of emotions, joy, caution, old hurt. She wrote back carefully. Emma, I'd like that very much. I miss you too. I'm in Jacksonville now. Let me know when you're free. No pressure, no expectations. Just us. Love, Grandma. They met 3 weeks later at a quiet cafe near the beach. Emma arrived first, taller than Evelyn remembered, her hair long and dark like Sarah's. She looked nervous, clutching a small gift bag. Grandma, Emma said, voice soft. You look good. Evelyn smiled. So do you. Sit. Let's talk. They ordered tea and pastries. Emma spoke first. I read your blog. Someone at school shared it. I didn't know everything that happened. Mom told me you were sick, that you didn't want us anymore. I believed her for a long time. Evelyn listened without interrupting. The first year in Jacksonville passed like a gentle tide, slow, steady, and full of small wonders Evelyn had forgotten existed. Mornings began with coffee on the balcony, watching the St. Johns River shimmer under the Florida sun. She walked the paths daily, greeting neighbors by name. Dolores from the writing group, George who played piano in the community hall, Mia's mother who thanked her weekly for the tutoring sessions. Evelyn's days filled with purpose. Art classes on Tuesdays, bridge on Thursdays, volunteer work on Saturdays. The blog continued to grow, now with over 100,000 readers. Comments arrived daily, stories of shared pain, gratitude, and hope. One post went especially viral. The day I stopped buying love. Evelyn wrote about the Sweet 16 party, the guardianship petition, the courtroom confrontation. She didn't name Sarah or Tom, but the details were unmistakable to those who knew. The post ended, love isn't a transaction. It's a choice, mutual, respectful, free. When I stopped paying for it, I found it in places I never expected. Friends who chose me, a life I chose for myself. The response was overwhelming. Emails from women across the country, some in tears, some angry at their own families. One reader wrote, "You gave me the strength to tell my son no. He's angry, but I sleep better." Another, "My daughter tried the same thing. I lost her, but I gained peace." Evelyn answered every message she could, offering quiet encouragement. She started a private Facebook group for readers, over 5,000 members in months, where they shared resources on elder rights, financial advice, and healing. That night, as fireworks lit the sky over the river, Evelyn stood on her balcony. She thought about the woman she had been a year ago, tired, used, invisible. Then she thought about the woman she was now, independent, surrounded by chosen family, pursuing passions she had forgotten. She raised a glass to the stars. To new beginnings, she whispered. And for the first time in decades, she meant it. She joined the on-site bridge club, of course. The players were competitive but kind. She made new friends, a retired teacher named Dolores who loved mystery novels, a widower named George who played piano beautifully. They played twice a week, and Evelyn's skills sharpened again. One afternoon, while walking the river path, she met a group of volunteers who organized community outreach, tutoring kids, delivering meals. Evelyn signed up. She began tutoring a young girl named Mia in math, driving to a local school once a week. Mia reminded her of Emma at that age, curious, bright, a little shy. It filled a hole Evelyn hadn't realized was there. Months passed. The blog hit 50,000 readers. A local news station interviewed her about elder financial abuse. She spoke calmly, without bitterness. "I loved my family," she said. "But love doesn't mean endless sacrifice. It means mutual respect. I learned that the hard way, but I learned it." The interview aired statewide. Comments poured in, some from strangers, some from people she knew. One message came from a number she recognized, Emma's phone. "Grandma, I saw you on TV. I'm sorry about the party. Mom said we couldn't talk, but I miss you. I'm 16 now. Can we meet sometime?" Evelyn stared at the text for a long time. She typed, deleted, typed again. "I miss you too, Emma. I'd like that. Let me know when you're ready." She sent it. No immediate reply, but the door wasn't slammed shut. Christmas came. Evelyn decorated her small apartment with a tiny tree and lights. The Bridge Club friends from Roswell visited, along with new ones from Fleet Landing. They ate turkey, played cards, exchanged gifts. Evelyn gave Clara a framed photo of them all at the senior center, Robert a set of pruning shears, Linda a book on resilience. The drive to Jacksonville took 6 hours. Clara rode shotgun, insisting on coming along. They stopped for lunch in Macon, laughed about old bridge hands, and arrived at Fleet Landing just as the sun dipped toward the horizon. The community was beautiful, palm trees swaying, residents walking dogs along the river path. Evelyn's apartment was on the 3rd floor, with a balcony overlooking the water. The movers had already set up her bed, sofa, and kitchen table. It felt like a blank canvas. That first night, Evelyn stood on the balcony, watching the lights reflect on the river. Clara hugged her goodbye, promising to visit soon. Alone, Evelyn felt a mix of excitement and loneliness. But it was a healthy loneliness, the kind that came with freedom. The next morning, she woke to birdsong and the sound of waves in the distance. She made coffee, sat on the balcony, and opened her laptop. She had started a blog during the court proceedings, reclaiming independence, a grandmother's journey, an anonymous space to share her story. The first post had gone viral in senior forums, thousands of views, comments from women who had faced similar betrayals. "You gave me the courage to say no," one wrote. "Thank you." Evelyn began posting regularly, tips on setting financial boundaries, stories of her Bridge Club friends, reflections on grief and growth. The blog grew. She joined the community's writing group, where she met other retirees with stories to tell. One woman, Margaret, had cut off her son after he tried to forge her signature on loans. Another, Beatrice, had sold her family farm after her children demanded she divide it early. They formed a small support circle that met weekly. Fleet Landing offered endless activities. Evelyn signed up for art classes. She hadn't painted since college and found she still had talent. Her first piece was a watercolor of the hydrangeas from her old garden, soft blues and purples that reminded her of home. She hung it in her living room. Evelyn felt a pang, but she didn't reach out. Some bridges, once burned, were best left as ashes. Evelyn began to make plans for her future. The court victory had restored her confidence, and the sale of her house loomed as the next step. The Roswell property had appreciated over the years. A realtor friend from the senior center valued it at over $600,000. She met with the agent, toured a few senior communities online, and settled on Fleet Landing in Jacksonville, Florida, a continuing care retirement community right on the St. Johns River, with beaches nearby, golf courses, art classes, and a vibrant social scene. The apartments were bright and modern, with views of water and palms. It felt like a fresh start. She listed the house in November. Showings were frequent, and she spent her days packing slowly, sorting through old photos, Harold's tools, Sarah's childhood drawings. Some she kept, others she donated. The Bridge Club helped. Clara organized boxes, Robert hauled furniture to Goodwill, Linda sorted paperwork. They made it bearable. One evening, as Evelyn packed the last of the kitchen items, she found a small box tucked in the back of a cabinet, letters from Harold, written during his business trips. She sat on the floor and read them, tears flowing freely. "My dearest Evie," one began. "I miss you more than words. Remember, you're stronger than you know. Don't ever forget that." She folded the letters carefully and placed them in a keepsake box she would take to Florida. The house sold quickly, closing in early December. Evelyn netted enough to buy her new apartment outright and have a comfortable cushion. She arranged movers for the essentials, donated the rest, and said goodbye to the home where she had raised Sarah, loved Harold, and finally reclaimed herself. Thank you in advance. And you, what would you do if you were in Evelyn's place? Would you keep giving until nothing was left, or would you finally draw the line and protect yourself? I would love to hear your opinion, so please share it with me in the comments below. I'm always curious about what you all think. Also, tell me, What time is it right now where you are, and which city or state in the USA, or anywhere else in the world, are you watching from? For more heartfelt life stories like Evelyn's journey, please like this video, subscribe to the channel, and hit the bell so you never miss an update. There are so many more stories waiting for you. With heartfelt greetings, until next time. M.